Welcome to the Academy. My name is George Lundgren, the art teacher at Countryside Elementary School in Edina, Minnesota. In today's lesson, we're going to look at the subject of monoprinting a Monet water-lily painting. Our lesson and objective is to understand the idea of a symmetrical reflection and how we can use monoprinting to create that symmetrical reflection. So first, let's look at the idea of reflection. A reflection is created when light bounces off water, producing a symmetrical image of the original object. So here in this picture, you'll notice that there is a line of symmetry right here along the water's edge. On the top of the picture, you'll see the true mountain and the sky, and in the bottom half you'll see a reflection of the mountain. Now the mountain should be exactly the same. However, the water is a little blurry because the water isn't perfectly crystal clear. So you get an image that looks similar and is symmetrical, but it's just a little bit different. Now most teachers will present you a picture that looks like this and say, boys and girls, whatever is on one half looks exactly the same on the other half, which is true. However, in our picture, the first half is going to look a little bit different than the other half because we're going to be making a monoprint. Now, the monoprint is a form of printmaking that can only be made once. And unlike most forms of printmaking wherein artists make multiple prints, a monoprint is singular and unique and cannot be remade. So here's an example of a monoprint. And in this monoprint, there is the line of symmetry right here. And you can see the bridge on the top half and the bridge on the bottom half. And what you do is you paint the top half and then fold the paper along that fold line to create the exact same image on the bottom. And if we look at Monet's waterlily garden or Waterlily Pond, you'll see his line of symmetry follows the one that was just in my example. The line of symmetry being here, the Japanese style bridge up on the top, being reflected in the water on the bottom. And if we look a little farther out, you'll notice that this photograph of Monet's Waterlily Pond looks just like our painting is going to look. We're basically doing a cropped image of, like right here. You can see the sky and you can see how it's reflected down in the water. You can see ever so slightly the bridge right here. We can't see the reflection because the water is too dark, but we can see the trees up here and how they're reflected in the water down there. Now as we make our picture, we are going to keep that idea of reflection in mind. So if we look at our demonstration, I start out with this, all right, and we'll look at the other demonstrations to get to this point, but what I want to illustrate is how to make a monoprint. So I start using white, black, and orange, and I make a tint of orange and do the very top of the bridge, and then I take my picture and fold it in half right along this fold line there, and you'll watch as I do that. And I line it up nicely along the bottom here, so I line it up the same each time, and I take my fingers and fold it in half, and then I actually take my fingers and kind of smooth over the imaginary bridge right there to transfer the paint. So now we have one part up here and an exact copy of it down there, which is a monoprint. Okay, then I put in the little bars for the banisters, and I fold it in half. I put in the bottom of the footbridge and fold it in half after I get done doing the tint on the top and the shade on the bottom. Then I fold it in half and get the symmetrical image. Okay, then I make a little bit different colors. I make some tints of violet and put some shadows in and fold it in half, and I get my symmetrical image. And you'll see how the image is exactly the same on the bottom as my original image is on the top. So thank you for joining me for our subject of monoprinting a Monet waterlily painting, understanding the idea of a symmetrical reflection and how we can use monoprinting to create that symmetrical reflection.